We are just days away from the 2024 NBA draft being kicked off, and on today's video, I'm going to give you 5 players that I have heard the New York Knicks are interested in and players that fit the Tom Thibodeau bill. But before we dive into that, make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on. That way you can join us for our live coverage of Round 1 as well as our live coverage of Round 2. This is the first year that it is a 2-day event for the NBA draft. We'll be live on Wednesday and Thursday, and I want to see you there. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Let's dive into it. Draft season, it's almost over as the draft is almost here. And the New York Knicks, they do own 3 picks, the 24th pick, the 25th pick, and the 38th overall selection. And I'm going to be honest with you, I will be utterly shocked if Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, and World Wide Wes walk out of the NBA draft with 3 different players wearing a draft hat. I just don't see it happening. Maybe 1, maybe 2, but I do not see 3. My favorite player that I want to see be picked by the New York Knicks is Yves Missi, the athletic big man out of Baylor, and this is your Mitchell Robinson replacement. There's been a lot of talk about Robinson being on the trade block, and the Knicks are going to trade him, and they're going to figure out what they're going to do with him. And look, if they do, and you want to replace him with a player that's cost-controlled for the next 4 years, this is him at almost 6'11", 230 pounds, and over a 7-foot wingspan. To be honest with you, he is Mitchell Robinson, a springy athlete who excels as a rim protector and doesn't take many plays off. He's a great roller, strong hands to handle pass in tight windows, and throws down lobs. I mean, when you go watch the tape of Missi in the Big 12 last year playing for the Baylor Bears, it is Mitchell Robinson. He's long, he's lengthy, he's athletic. He can touch the top of the backboard. He throws down lobs. He's an excellent defender, can protect the rim, can even occasionally on switches stay in front of guards. And I really do think he's very similar. I'm not confident in himself to take a jump shot yet. Not sure if that's ever in his game, but he is a Mitchell Robinson clone, maybe a little bit even more springy in my opinion. The Ringer and Kevin O'Connor says this about Missi, quote, with a strong frame, vertical pop, and long arms, he offers rim protection, whether he's dropping into pick and roll or sliding over as a help defender. He's also alert and quick, making him a threat to disrupt on the perimeter. He can rack up deflections and steals or switch screens to defend multiple positions. If you're trying to replace Mitchell Robinson, Yves Missi is the obvious selection. Last year averaged 11 points per game, just under 6 rebounds, giving you a block and a half per night, as well as knocking it down from inside the paint because that's where he operates at over 61%. Long, lengthy, athletic, rim protecting, shot blocking, lob threat. Yves Missi would be a great selection for the New York Knicks in the first round. Another player I have heard the New York Knicks are interested in is Kevin McCullar Jr. out of Kansas. 23 years old, so a little bit of an older prospect. And as we know, Thibs, he likes some players coming in the NBA draft that are a little more seasoned. Look at Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly. He's 6'5" plus. He's got good size. And he was a player that at the beginning of the college season, he was one of the best players in the country. Then some injuries caught up to him, and people kind of have forgotten about him for whatever reason that might be. He's a smart player who rebounds well, can push the ball and make plays out in the open, improved his three-point shot drastically, and has a form that should translate. He's an older prospect with limited room for growth, but I do think he's someone that can come in and be ready to play game 1, and he's pretty solid at just about anything. Like, I don't really see any massive holes in his game, but I do wonder how much better of a player he will be in 3, 4, 5 years from now. O'Connor says, quote, dramatically improved perimeter score thanks to his recent shooting progress. He made slight tweaks to his posture before the season, which have unlocked his shot from all ranges. High IQ cutter with immaculate timing and feel for finding the weak spots in the defense. He also has soft hands and touch for finishing. If he can improve that outside shot, like that's the one thing that I'm probably the most worried about, but I think the form is something that's going to yield good results down the line. If he could become a league average shooter, he's going to be able to produce in this league pretty dang early. He can score. He has a knack for finding a way to put the ball in the basket. I think he's a creative playmaker as well. I think he can handle at the pro level, and he knows how to use his size, snatching up almost 6 rebounds per game. McCullar Jr. could be someone that the New York Knicks look at with the 23rd the 24th or 25th pick in this draft. Ryan Dunn, the do-it-all defensive wing, another player that I think is at the top of Tom Thibodeau's board. He is someone that I know the New York Knicks are fans of. He's a CAA client. The Knicks have worked him out. And when you talk about what the Knicks could use, another wing defender that could defend multiple positions, that is New York's own Ryan Dunn. He'll be able to almost defend every single position in the league. I don't think he's going to be someone that's going to go toe-to-toe with like a Joel Embiid in the paint. But if you want someone that could switch on to guards, lock down wing scores, and even be someone and give you some paint defense, he's that guy. He's a really good rebounder as well, knows how to utilize his length and athleticism to stack up rebounds. He'll be able to help the New York Knicks on that. I think he's the most complete defender in this class, but also maybe the worst offensive player in this draft, and that's a major question mark for me. Is he just going to be another Matisse Thybulle or Andre Roberson, or could he develop that three-point shot and be a legit player in this league? O'Connor says, quote, he's a special defender who disrupts plays in every single way. He's intelligent, often blowing up opponents' plays, and with his versatility, he could switch to effectively contain opponents of any shape or style. Understands his offensive role. He isn't a creator, but he limits mistakes and keeps the ball moving. This guy averages almost over 4 steals and blocks per game. He just doesn't shoot the three, and he doesn't make it either. If he's going to be able to really be a solid rotation player in this league, he's got to improve in that department, or I just don't see how he plays in the fourth quarter or in the playoffs, because other teams will just leave him open and dare him to shoot. I like him a lot just because of what he could do on the defensive side of the court. If you're excited for the 2024 NBA draft, hit that thumbs up icon for me, trying to see what the excitement level is between the Knicks Now viewers. Tristan da Silva, one of my favorite players in this draft class, 23 years old, comes in at about 6'8", 217 pounds, another older prospect that I think could affect the game in the pros pretty early on. Someone that may not be great at any one thing, but he's extremely well-rounded, and I think that's going to benefit him, and he's going to be able to be a plug-and-play player in almost any system in this league. And his playmaking is something that I think is extremely underrated. At 6'8", you look at him as more of a lengthy, long wing that gets up and down and can slash and defend multiple positions, but he can also create with the ball in his hands for himself and others. Lacks some explosiveness, not the greatest athlete in the world, but I think he's more than athletic enough to be someone that can hold his own in the NBA. And I think that Silva is someone that would come off the bench for the New York Knicks, and I think he can give you another secondary or tertiary ball handler playing next to Deuce McBride or Josh Hart, and I think that three-point shot is something that's really, really going to translate in this league. O'Connor, he feels the exact same way, saying, quote, an effortless spot-up three-point shooter who's made nearly 40% of his catch-and-shoot threes in college, coordinated at the rim with finishing with a knack for opportunistic cuts and sealing off defenders under the rim, then using either hand to hit hook shots. The more players that you have that can knock it down at above league average and catch-and-shoot situations, the more efficient your offense is going to be. And Da Silva is going to be able to do that upon walking into the NBA, giving you 16 points a night, over 5 boards. He flashes his defensive versatility every once in a while, playing the passing lanes and pickpocketing ball handlers. And he's just an efficient player everywhere, smart player, makes a lot of really good winning plays, almost 50% from the deck and nearly 40% from downtown. One of my favorite players in this draft class as well, DaRon Holmes, the athletic big man out of Dayton. You watch Holmes' tape long enough, and you're going to ask yourself, why is he not looked at as a player that's going to be selected inside the top 10? And to be honest with you, I really do not know why. He's got good size, good strength, great athleticism, and I think he's got a good knack and a good IQ, and someone's going to be able to figure out the game early on. He excels with his back to the basket. He's got nice touch and did most of his work on the block, kind of underrated in that department. Some people just classify him as a rim runner. He's someone that can get to his own shot when operating in the post. He showcased the ability to space the floor with a developing jumper. Not going to say he's going to come in and be a stretch big. Maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now, he could be someone that could hit an open catch-and-shoot three. Undersized and might not fit as a true center, which is one of my bigger worries with him. But I think overall his strength, IQ, and play style will be able to have him excel there. Kind of gives me some Precious Achiuwa vibes, where he's not your ideal 7-footer at the center spot, but because of his athleticism and strength and length, he could do it occasionally. O'Connor says he's a shot blocker and his shot blocking is his best defensive skill. He's agile in small spaces and perceptive. He keeps his head on a swivel and hustles for second and third efforts on possessions. An intelligent player who embraces his role as a screener, cutter, and rim runner. I think that Tom Thibodeau, like if you put Tom Thibodeau on a lie detector test, he said, yo, Thibs, tell me what you think about DaRon Holmes. Oh, I love that kid, man. He just does it all, defense, offense, effort, IQ. Like, he would be a perfect player in this New York Knicks team. And I think if you're not going to bring back Precious Achiuwa, he could be that guy. Almost gave you 21 and 9 last year with 2 blocks per game. He likes to chase after blocks, which gets him in a little bit of trouble. But when you can emphatically reject people like he does with the strength, length, and athleticism, I do not blame him at all. He's going to continue to get better. I don't think he's close to a finished product, and he's one of the players I have higher on my big boards for the New York Knicks. We just ran through 5 players on today's video. Now it's your turn to give me a name of a player you want the Knicks to draft. Give me a name of a player you want to see wearing that orange and blue draft hat on Wednesday night. Make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Hit me up over there at @MarshallGreen_, and let's go Knicks.